Hey, it's Astro D. I thought it started, but it didn't start yet. Okay, well, anyway, hey, it's Astro D. Okay, making learning astrology real simple and easy, keeping it cute and simple like a dimple. Okay, Astro D coming today with some synastry lessons and information on Pluto and Venus when they get together. When two people, when one person has Pluto and one person has Venus, and they come together in a synastry chart, what is it that happens? How what are the interactions that go on? Okay, and how does it affect each person? So this is a tricky one. This is quite a tricky one, but it's actually my favorite aspect because you kind of love hate it. And they're both like two of the same things describing that. It's a love hate. You know that saying, it's a thin line between love and hate. This is where you feel it the most when you have Pluto and Venus with somebody. So first, let me break it down. I want to take my time on this one. I usually like to make it real quick and short and sweet, but this one I really want to make sure I get into the depths, okay, of what's going on between two people and their dynamic here. So the first thing that comes to one's head when you think Pluto and Venus together, you think obsession, you think jealousy, toxic relationships, all this terrible stuff. But I'm going to talk about the higher and the lower octave of this. I'm going to give some examples, and I'm going to show you how you can make it work. Because you can make it work. Sometimes it does get bad when that square comes along. So I'm going to go through the conjunction, opposition, and square, and touch on a little bit if you have it natally in your chart. So to start, if you also want to check out my video, I talk about Pluto in my Pluto retrograde video that's on the playlist. But for now, I'm going to recap a little bit that I said about it. Now, Pluto, this is about the shadow energy. Our Pluto in our chart is how we handle power. What do we do to exert our power? What is the condition of our own Plutos in our chart? And how do we exert it? Where we bullied a lot as a kid, and now we've become bullies with Pluto on our sun. How we felt overpowered by an authority figure too much in our chart, to now we're the point where we become manipulative and overpowering here. This is Pluto. Okay. And like I said, have you used this power that you learned for good or for bad? How do we use the power that we have within our chart? Is it hidden in our 12th house that we're not really aware of? Or is it right in our first house? And is that the first thing that people see about you, where your Pluto is? And keep in mind, knowing your chart will always help your synastry and astrology, because just because you have Pluto on somebody's Venus, you have to know how exactly it is that your Pluto is working to hit that Venus in a conjunction or in a trine or a sextile or whatever it is. And these are called aspects. Check out my aspects video if you don't know what aspects are. So to break it down, Pluto is exuding our power, right? And what we put it towards. Venus here, Venus is where are our desires? What are the things that we pretty much like? What are the sweet things in life for us? Where do we find a sense of comfort, pleasure, happiness? Where is that? All right. Venus is also our finances. How can we develop our finances? How can we make big money, that Pluto money, not that Jupiter money? I'm talking about that Pluto money. Okay, that transformative, change your life, rags to riches type money. All right. So I'm gonna break it down. I'm talking about love, I'm talking about synastry, but I'm gonna break it all down. Stick with me with this whole video because it's really gonna give you the whole insight on this whole thing. So now you have the story of Pluto and Venus now. I don't know if many people know the mythology of it. Now listen, I try not to make these planets people, things, and they're just energies, but this is just a way to describe how this is going. So let me the story of Persephone and Hades, right? Hades. All right, so this is also talking about when Venus is invisible or visible. So this story here, basically Venus is chilling. She's walking around, sitting at the bus stop, sucking on a lollipop. And, Hades comes and he's like, oh, I like you, Venus. I like you with that lollipop. Come on. I'm going to take you. I'm going to kidnap you and bring you down to the underworld. So Venus is like, well, fine. Okay, I could deal with this. I actually like this. I could actually stay here. So, even Mercury tried to come down and be like, come on, Venus, what's going on? Venus was like, no, I like my captor. I have fallen in love with my captor and I am staying here. So apparently it was like Zeus said, okay, well, fine, let's make an agreement. 6 months out of the year, Venus is going to go down with Hades in the winter time, and then she's going to come up in the springtime. So this is where Venus becomes visible and invisible. Those stories, that's where that story comes from as well. But it also talks about this dynamic of Venus and Pluto. Pluto kind of steals Venus away. It changes her life, her entire life, breaks her down, makes her die. Pluto rules death. Okay, so this is pretty much, it kills Venus in a way so that Venus could rise up from the ashes and become something new, something more beautiful, something stronger and amazing. Or, you know, Venus could become a total psychopath and lose it and lose their mind and be an institution pulling out their hair, you know, and sucking on an old lollipop now. All right. So this could be the dynamic here. So let's talk about the higher dynamics of when Pluto and Venus come together. And let's talk about it separately from synastry. Just Pluto and Venus coming together. This is a large amount of wealth and money that could be developed here. All right. When Pluto and Venus come together, this is also a powerful amount of pleasure that can be developed here. All right. A powerful amount, the kind, once again, that makes you almost die and come back to life in a new way, right? The phoenix rising. The phoenix, always think about that type of situations when we're dealing with Pluto, Scorpio in the 8th house. Always remember that breaking down to rise up from the ashes. Okay, I remember that part in Black Panther when he had died, he had took the medicine and he died and he came right back. That movie was off. I'm going to see the Avengers this weekend. Okay, anyway. So that's the story, talking about the story, talking about Venus going visible and invisible. I think Venus is still visible now, which is off the chain. All right. Pluto also rules the obsession, right? Jealousies that we have, you know, bubbling inside here. So now the question is, who is doing what to whom? Okay. And a lot of times it's both, the dynamic of both. But, you know, Pluto is coming with that energy of obsession, possession, obsession. It's coming with that energy. And what does it do? It evokes that out of Venus. It pulls that from Venus. So Venus is exuding, you know, jealousy patterns. And even if they may not have done that before or already. Okay, so I just want to do a very quick example I'm going to play of how Pluto Venus could go. Now, this situation, I want to say it's the square, because this is an exaggerated form of how Venus and Pluto can tango. This is an exaggerated form of it. It doesn't always have to be this intense, but this is a perfect example of Venus and Pluto. Pluto bringing out this obsessive, I can't be without you type of quality from Venus. And Pluto is also equally obsessed with Venus. The question is, who is more? And that question would be, what is the position of Venus? Is Venus already dealing with its own issues? Does Venus have self-worth issues? If that's the case, then Venus may be exuding the jealousy more than the Pluto person may be exuding it. So that also always depends on the chart, how it works. So this person right here, okay, I think this person actually had the aspect. If this was real life, this person would natally have the aspect as well. Because if you natally have Venus and Pluto, you are a natural magnetic person. You attract these obsessive type relationships. So here I'm going to show you how it is done through this screen share. All right, I'm going to show you this quick clip. And I'm going to break it down. Yes. Yes, that is the perfect example of, and that's from the movie Pootie Tang with Chris Rock. I absolutely love that movie. I had to hold it in and not laugh. All right, but that's the perfect example. Pootie Tang definitely had Pluto in his ascendant. He had Pluto trining Venus, something about that, because everybody was obsessed with this man. If you want to check out that video, check out the movie Pootie Tang, and you will really get to see an exaggerated version of this magnetic energy. You don't even know why. You are just like totally drawn to this person, can't stop. Don't know what to do with yourself. And you see, he left her there. See, that's the situation when we deal with these Pluto, because this Pluto Venus things, these are about power struggles. You know, when it's not aspected well, all right, this is when the person has to pull away, damn near leave a Dear John letter and escape from the Pluto person. You know, or vice versa. The Pluto person's like, I can't. I just got to cut you up. You saw how he closed that door? Later on, it's funny as hell what he actually does to keep her at bay, but I had to keep it short, you know, attention span, you know, to keep it real short. So let me talk about the conjunction. The conjunction is basically, a conjunction is when you combine the energy. That's when Pluto is just next to each other, next to Venus here. So this is just a mixing of the energies here. We're mixing passion and relief. You know, this is nice, you know, deep intimacy, the kind of intimacy that you sleep with somebody and you wake up the next day and you feel like a totally different person, right? These are transcending. This is tantric. This is tantric sex. This is transcending, right? And I said this, I had written a report about this. I had said, this is either so you sleeping with someone and them taking you to another dimension or putting you in an institution. Yes, putting you in a straitjacket. You just don't know. Oh my God, it was so good. I don't know what to do with myself. Oh my God. Oh no. And you will be screaming in the elevator for somebody, just like Homegirl was on this clip I just showed. Got to be very, very careful when you see someone's Pluto on your Venus. They will actually bring wealth to you. They will magnetize you. You know, as far as your sexual energy, you will be more magnetized. You'll feel more attractive around this person. The energy, the bond and attraction between the two people is just off the charts. It's very intense. It's almost a little dangerous here. All right. So the conjunction here is, like I said, a mixture of a lot of the energies. It's not as bad as just a total square, but I'm going to get into the square. So you got the opposition. This is where we got a tango. We got a push and pull here. Pluto wants, because more so in the conjunction, Pluto and Venus are already kind of on a similar flow of energies. But with the opposition here, Pluto is going to be in a totally different sign. Venus is in a totally different sign. So if Venus is in Aquarius, right? And Pluto is in like Leo or something like that. No, that's a square to Pluto. So Aquarius, opposite of Aquarius, I'm tripping. So, you know, Pluto is in the opposite of Aquarius and it's in a totally different energy. Venus wants to be free. Pluto is like, wait a minute. Nah, you know, I don't want you to go nowhere. You need to stay home. I'm going to need you to stay right here, right? I'm going to need you to not go out and start to develop tendencies and issues. Sometimes Pluto will go back and forth, teeter from being okay for Venus to go out and do his thing, or then it'll come back to no, it's not okay, jealousy issues. So then it starts to get tension, starts to occur here. And now we're not just dealing with powerful transformative sex or deep visions of insight or someone changing you for the better. This is the conjunction. This is also the trine, where someone can change you for the absolute better now. Really make you start to dig out old patterns. All of it, Pluto's always going to dig up some old crap, some old scumminess. It's always going to do that, but it does it in the best. This is where the Pluto person is using their power in the trine and conjunction. A lot of times the Pluto person is using their power to help you, to actually, I could see through you, and I'm going to use that information to help you be a better person, versus I'm going to use that information to manipulate you and use it for my own personal gain. Pluto gets tempted to do that with the opposition. Okay. And now it's not always horrible for everybody. Remember, this depends on the sign, the degree of the sign, other aspects of that sign. What is the aspects that what are the aspects that Venus is making on its own? What type of Venus is this? How strong is this Venus? How free is this Venus? Is this Venus in Scorpio? All right. Is this Pluto in Scorpio? If that's the case, like I said, that's the conjunction. So now you got the square. That square is where things get real toxic, where things really start to become dangerous. All right. This is that thin line between love and hate. I love you so much, I'll kill you type of thing. And these are where we have to be very careful. These are those stalker type relationships. These are, the dynamics where Pluto is out the window for Venus, and Venus is like, oh my God, I can't believe this girl, and she's like, well, oh my God, call the cops on him, but I can't, I think I love him. But why are you even dealing with this? I don't know. It's just so good when we're together. Okay, you got to let it go. You have to let that go. And these are probably the toughest situations to let it go. Let alone you guys got aspects to Saturn. Oh my goodness, I'm going to pray for you. But a lot of times, these are situations where there's constant games being played. There's constant manipulation being played here. Pluto wants to control Venus. Pluto wants to kidnap Venus and take it into its underworld to change Venus. I want to change you. I see the better in you, right? But does Venus really need that? Or is that just an illusion that Pluto's having? Because Pluto wants to change everything it touches and wants to transform everything. So with that square, this is where we get into abuse. This is where we could get into a lot of psychological abuse here. This is where the Pluto person becomes quite obsessed with Venus, and now we get into unrequited love. I call it unrequited, whatever you call it. This is that love, that torturous love. Love and torture go hand in hand with this Venus-Pluto here. Some people love torture that are going through. I'm talking about the natal aspect of it. But, talking about the square in synastry, having someone's Pluto squaring your Venus here. This is that sense where they can bring out the worst in you. This is the kind of person that might, if you've never been the type to obsessively call or obsessively text, that Pluto person is going to pull that out of you, and you might find yourself doing that. They might not call you. They may be playing mental games, because this is a back and forth of games. So they might be playing with your head, saying, I'm not going to pick up the phone tonight. You didn't call me back yesterday, and I didn't like how long you took to call me back. So I'm not picking up this phone when you call. So then you call and they don't pick up the phone. You're like, oh my God, what happened? Is it something I did? And you keep texting, and you keep texting. Oh my God, you texting. And it's like, really? Oh my goodness. They have pulled out that psychopath in you. All right. A lot of times, though, this is important, though, that you pull away from this situation and you pull clean. Don't pull out dirty, because they will bring out the dirty side of you. You pull out clean, because sometimes you are changed. Remember, you're changed. You're transformed. No matter what, this relationship is going to change you. Hopefully it doesn't change you to be bitter. Hopefully it doesn't change you, like I said, to go from a higher dimension to a mental institution. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that this Venus will bring out the best if it's in a trine or conjunction, but in the square, this could make someone bitter if they don't fight. But it's a need to break away, because you can't help it. You're addiction, to a person or to the sex that they bring. It's like, oh my God, I can't stand you. I hate you, but I love being intimate with you. Oh my goodness. And that's a tough one. This is why they're called toxic relationships here. The relationship of obsession and attraction. Now, it's awesome when you have this as a trine. I really do. I think this is like one of the best trines you can have with somebody. Because like I said, it really takes you somewhere when you're being intimate with them, when you're having a good time, it really takes you somewhere with pleasure. Things just feel extra good when you're with this person. Now, people that have this natally, if you have Pluto Venus on your ascendant, I know you got fans. People just all over you, or attracting that, and you want it. I don't care what anybody, if you have a Pluto Venus contact in your chart, usually if it's the opposition or the square, you crave the attention from others. You crave it. You understand, if you have natal Venus and Pluto interaction, you understand the value of what you have, how you can use sex for wealth. You understand it. Whether you do it or not, that's on you, and that's on your chart, whole history. But you understand and you value the ability to use what you got to get what you want. This is, we could call it the prostitute, we call it whatever you want to call it, but this is about learning how to use your sexual energy for power and control in a situation. This is withholding. The person that withholds sex when they're angry. That's Pluto Venus, definitely. When you're going through a Pluto Venus transit, you have to be very, very careful that you're also not attracting these types of people, these types of obsessive, compulsive people that are like bottomless pits. They just want more of you and more of you and more of you until there's nothing left of you. And then when there is nothing left, you're not as attractive. There's nothing to drain anymore. I got to go now. I got to find somebody else who is going to feed my bottomless pit. So sometimes, you know, when it's a square or when it's a tough aspect, you can't just have, you need boundaries. You know, you're not a terrible person if you have this square. You're not. I love you. I love you. Just, you know, it's just that you need boundaries on how much of a person that you can have. You know, a lot of times these people, they kind of need a fan. They need that obsession. You know, they need somebody. I had a friend that had this aspect, and it's like, oh my God, like, why are you attracting? Like, people would come out of the bushes for this girl. They would just be, it was just too much for me because, like I said, I mean, it's like, I don't like stalkers. And they're like, you know, they're not that bad. They're not that bad. And I'm like, girl, are you serious? Are you really serious? Like, you think you want this. You want this energy. So a lot of times, you know, people with this aspect, they need that feeling of power. They use their beauty as a way to exert their power for good or for bad, depending on the aspect. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope I broke down the best of Pluto and Venus together. How can you transcend? It doesn't always have to be a bad thing. It can be an amazing, powerful thing, somebody that can change your life for the best, bring out the best, most powerful, amazing magneticness in you. All right. And it also, via transit, brings a lot of money. Like I said, Pluto is a planet of you know, great things so big and great that it changes your life. You know, death of poverty, you know, rebirth of wealth, right? I'm getting excited just thinking about it. Being rich, okay? All right. And I'm going to leave you guys. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at AstroDeeStars5. I'm going to let this clip finish, and I'm going to head out of here. Take care. First, I got to do the screen share. Yeah, I'm going to do the screen share, and I'm going to continue this video here of Pootie Tang and his boo.